Hello and welcome to this SETI Live. We are going to talk about music, singing, earthlings, extraterrestrials, and sending your voice to the moon. My name is Bettina Forget. I'm the director of the SETI Institute's Artist in Residence program. And I'm here today with my two guests, the renowned composer Felipe Pérez Santiago and the SETI Institute's very own Dr. Jill Tarter. Felipe Pérez Santiago is an internationally acclaimed composer, conductor, guitarist, sound artist based in Mexico City. Winner of several prizes and recognitions, he is a member of the National System of Art Creators in Mexico. His compositions have been played and commissioned in more than 40 countries by internationally renowned orchestras and ensembles. Felipe's catalog includes more than 10 discographic productions spanning orchestral compositions, chamber music, solo pieces, electronic works, and music for films, dance, videos, and multimedia installations. Hello, Felipe.
Hi, Bettina. Thank you very much for having me here. It's really a pleasure to be part of this session. Thank you very much.
It's so great to have you here. Dr. Jill Tarter is the Chair Emeritus of the Center for SETI Research and holds the Bernard M. Olivier Chair for SETI at the SETI Institute. She is best known for her work on the search for extraterrestrial intelligence and has won a Lifetime Achievement Award for her contribution towards advancing science for humanity, amongst many other things. Hello, Jill.
Hi, Bettina. So good to see you again.
Hey, Felipe. So Felipe and Jill's collaboration is part of the SETI Institute's Artist in Residence program. The program connects contemporary artists with SETI Institute researchers and facilitates an exchange of ideas to catalyze new perspectives, insights, and modes of comprehension. Our SETI Air program artists bring fresh eyes and informed critical minds to complex concepts and become creative ambassadors for the SETI Institute. Felipe and Jill's Earthling Project is an excellent example of such a collaboration. So Felipe, what is the Earthling Project?
Sure. Well, first of all, I really want to thank the SETI Institute that they invited me. Almost 3 years ago already was my first contact with Charles Lindsay, the founder and senior advisor of the SETI Artist in Residence program. So I had the pleasure to travel to California for the first time almost 3 years ago, where I also met Jill, and we started brainstorming ideas of what could we do together as a musician, because I am also the first musician to be part of the Artist in Residence program. Now I know there are some others after me, but at that time I was the only musician. So we started just brainstorming and fantasizing about what could we do with music and space exploration, SETI exploration, etc. Everything that the SETI Institute is doing. And I remember Jill also telling me you should name this project Earthling. She already came up with the name 3 years ago, the name that we are currently using for this initiative. And the original idea was to send music into space, but in a manner that it was representative to all human beings. Of course, music has been sent into space since the 70s with the Golden Record and the Voyager 1, but at that time it was more a curatorial work of sending some of the most representative musical compositions of humanity. And the idea with the Earthling Project was two main differences. One was to create a piece that was expressively done for this project, and B, how to make it collective and how to involve the most amount of people working and collaborating together into creating this one piece, instead of being a composer's piece, like saying, okay, this is my piece as Felipe, and this is my idea of representing humanity, which of course for me was a great honor, but still I was only representing myself. I don't represent humanity. I represent just a small part of humanity, which is my person. So we thought, how can we involve the most amount of people into this? So after really months of brainstorming and sharing ideas and talking with people. Between Charles, Jill, and me, we came to this idea of creating an app, because nowadays the most important way of connecting with people from all over the world is through internet. I am aware that internet does not reach every person in the world, but at least it reaches the most amount. So everybody that has access to internet, almost everybody has access to an intelligent phone, so to a smartphone, sorry. And the idea is to create this app that is available for everybody. Actually, later on, we can talk about the launch we did yesterday. So the app is now available for its free download, absolutely for free. And you don't have to give any credit card number, any private information, nothing. Is just to download the app for free, where we are asking the user to record his or her voice singing 30 seconds of anything that he or she would think that represents him or her as a human being, as an earthling. Can be a folkloric song, can be a lullaby, can be a religious or spiritual chant, can be, I don't know, a wedding song. Every person is different. Every person has different human experiences. And then once we gather these voices, we are aiming and hoping to get at least 10,000 voices from different countries. I am gonna make small, what I call mashups, small 2-minute compositions of all these voices interacting together, like if it would be a gigantic virtual choir of people singing together. The way I imagine it is like, how can it sound, someone singing a lullaby from Mongolia singing together with someone singing a wedding song from Argentina and someone singing a funeral song from Iceland, for example. How can that sound together? And that is what we are hoping to discover in the next months. And all these small mashups will be embedded in a disc created by the Arc Mission Foundation, who are an extremely important partner for us in this endeavor. And they will launch it to the moon through the Astrobotics Agency in the Peregrine mission in the late summer of 2021, and it will be deposited in the surface of the moon as a representation of who we are as musical beings. So that's like in very general terms what the project is about.
Wow, that is a spectacular and very ambitious project, 10,000 human voices, and so people can have their voice on the moon. That is really phenomenal. Jill, you also have a really global perspective, and actually even larger than global perspective, because you're looking for aliens and science for alien life. What was it about Felipe's Earthling idea that captured your interest?
Well, for me, first I want to say to Felipe, you guys have done a fantastic job to get this to this point, and the app actually launched, given COVID and all the other challenges. And I guess we need to start collecting voices really soon, because you're gonna have to compose something, right?
Yeah.
For launch in the summer of 2021. So come on, folks, get with us and help us get this going. For me, one of the things that I've been thinking about most recently is that as we look out there and try and discover aliens, I think that we also are going through a process of looking at ourselves and discovering who we are. And I like to talk about SETI as an activity, as an intellectual framework, being the equivalent of holding up a mirror to everybody on this planet. And in that mirror, we sort of look different. But in fact, if you take that mirror and compare it to the idea of an intelligent species that evolved somewhere else, who will be utterly different than we humans are, I think it drives home the point that really we are all Earthlings. And we have to adopt that perspective as quickly as possible because we have a large number of challenges ahead of us on this planet that will need global solutions. And so we will have to cooperate across national boundaries to find solutions. And music is one of the more cooperative activities that humans have done. And so I think it's phenomenal that Felipe will find a way to mash up human voices into a beautiful piece of music that we can share and that can evolve and be changed by all the participants over time.
Yeah, I think that the idea of getting us all together and finding common ground and shared experiences is specifically right now in this political climate and during the COVID times, it's such an important concept, such a great idea. And actually on the topic of where people come from, I'm just going to do a little shout out to everyone who is dialing in right now. We have people joining us from the Netherlands, from Pennsylvania, from Wisconsin, from Philadelphia, from Micarata, Micathara. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Micathara.
Washington. So thank you for joining us, SETI Live, which is also a global thing because we are also on the internet and everyone will be able to join us without borders. So Jill, how does your it's kind of at the AIR program or the Artist in Residence program is kind of a strange thing because we're putting together artists and scientists, and typically those seem to be domains that don't really intersect much. But what have you discovered through this collaboration with an artist, maybe about your own research, and Felipe as well? Is there anything that working with Jill has provided you with new insights?
Well, for the scientists at the SETI Institute who have had the good fortune to participate with artists in the AIR program, I think that they end up looking at the research they're doing and thinking of it in a larger context, thinking of it maybe sideways, right? In a way they hadn't appreciated before. And so I've said often that thing that I like about art is that it helps us to conceptualize or conceive something that we don't understand at all and don't have any understanding of what it might be. But through art, we can think about it differently. And I think it's really useful. And there's so much we don't know and so many questions that we have that any tool we can find that helps us answer a question or at least pose it from a different perspective, I think is a really useful one. And it's fun, actually. That's another thing.
Felipe, what about you?
Well, I, of course, believe that this initiative that SETI Institute had of creating the SETI AIR and this vision that Charles and Jill had of putting this program together, and of course now you, Bettina, that are giving a new input and new ideas and new thoughts, new insights into this program is absolutely fantastic. Yesterday after the presentation, we were talking a lot about this, and art and science, actually they have always belonged together. The best example is Leonardo da Vinci. He could be a 100% dedicated scientist and explorer and a researcher, and at the same time he could be also creating things from the artistic point of view, because they are so related and they are so tangled among them. And then I don't know what happened, that sometime at the beginning of the 20th century they started separating those two precepts. And I remember very well that people would say, yeah, the artists are, these dreamers that are all the time with the head in the clouds and everything. And the scientists are these very squared people, sitting in a lab and just doing math and physics. And okay, well, that's what cliches are about, and commonplaces are about, but it certainly is very, very far from reality. artists, we need also science to develop our art, because our art is also is very precise sometimes. Okay, we dream a lot and everything, but it's also very precise. In my case, as a composer, to write a musical score for an orchestra, it's almost a scientific endeavor. And scientists also the other way around. If they want to research something like quantum physics or like a SETI exploration or space technology, they have to be dreamers. So they also, in a way, are artists. So I think, fortunately, more and more they are getting closer. And certainly this initiative by SETI and the SETI Air, for me, is one of the best examples of how we can make them live as one, as they intended to be in the first place.
Yes, agreed. And I think your project is also a wonderful example of the art science intersection, because it is, definitely an artistic project, but all that whole idea of creating a picture of humanity through music, but then also transporting it to the moon. So we're looking back at ourselves. It's poetic, but there's, you're doing like, you're dealing with the art mission. So it's really going into space. So it has all the components. How can people participate? Tell me a little bit more about the app.
Sure. Well, the app is now ready. Actually, as we speak now, I'm getting a lot of messages that our programmers are still updating and updating and updating. So to make it every time more accessible and more free and more users friendly for all the people that download it. And the app can be found in just the App Store for iOS users, for iPhone users, or in Google Play for Android users. And it's just
called the Earthling Project.
Yeah, just the Earthling Project, just like that, is it can be found. And of course, also through our webpage, which is earthlingproject.com, there is a direct link where if you just press that button, it will directly take you to the download download page. And again, is absolutely for free. All you have to do is download it, then put an email. It asks you for your name, but you don't have to put your name if you don't feel comfortable with it, or you would feel your privacy is compromised. It certainly is not, but again, it's not mandatory. And then it asks you just to record 30 seconds of your voice. The app itself has a mechanism to record. So you just press rec, you sing. If you're not happy, you can delete it as many times as you want. If you're happy, then it will be stored in a database. And from that database is where later on we will open the public library for everybody to listen to it. And in a couple of months, I will do the compositions to be sent to the moon.
That's fantastic. And we have actually a question from the audience who asked whether kids can submit their voices.
Of course, we also had that question yesterday, and it is a very, very important question. We don't have age, it's not age restricted, the app, yet we encourage the parents to be with their children while using the app. Of course, it has no any adult content or anything, just that we know that is supervised by an adult, the recording. That's it. But it's absolutely also kids friendly.
Right. You have these challenges of keeping inappropriate speech and bad material off of the platform, and so you're going to take that very seriously.
Totally. Every content that we find offensive, or that it has some hate speech, or any content including homophobia or racism or classism, misogyny, anything that would include any kind of hate speech will not be accepted, will be deleted, either by our team, and if we miss some of it, because obviously we don't speak all the languages in the world, and if comes some hate speech beautifully sung in a language that we don't speak, we also have a report button that the user, if he or she listens to something that is inappropriate for our platform, they will report it to us, and we will make sure to delete it. I'm really sorry to say this like so blunt, but this is a project about inclusion. So everything should be included, but we don't want any of those contents, because this is a project about union and about, showing the best of human beings, and not any kind of, confrontational speech.
What a nice change that is. And also it's only a cappella, right? No guitar playing, no trumpet in the background, just your voice.
Not for now. Also, we have got a lot that question, and we want to encourage the people to do only their a cappella voices, so their pure voices, so I can build this choir. Also, why? Because not everybody can play the guitar, not everybody can play the piano, not everybody can play the trumpet or the violin, but everybody, except we are also aware that a percentage of the world population may have something, voice impairing, but except for those population, every person in the world is able to sing. And we are not asking for any vocal or musical experience or background. I always put myself as an example because I have a gigantic and big musical education and professional training, and I have millions of diplomas as a composer and orchestral conductor, and I have the most horrible singing voice that you can imagine. And seriously, I'm not exaggerating. I sing very, very ugly, and I am gonna sing also. So everybody, if I can do it, everybody can do it.
You can do it. Jill, have you already left a sample on the app? Can we hear Jill Tarter sing?
No, I haven't yet. I'm going to compete with Felipe about. I am profoundly tone deaf, so my singing is really awful, and I'm trying to think back to the only times I was ever successful was back in the folk song days, sitting around my high school with a guitar. So I'm going to try and bring some of that back, but the app, Felipe, it also has another button, right? A button that allows people to support you. I mean, you've done this incredible amount of work with a huge army of volunteers to get to this point. But to maintain this database and to make sure that the app is functioning the way you think it should, you're going to need some more support, right?
Yes, totally. And thank you very much for bringing that up, Jill, because I felt a little bit ashamed of doing it myself. So thanks a lot.
It gets easier after 40 years.
But indeed, yeah, and the app is made only out of volunteer work. I'm not going to bore you now with the immense list of collaborators that I actually read yesterday during the press conference. And somebody even joked and sent me a private message that said that it looked like I was reading the credits of any Avengers movie. And because it's a long list of collaborators, all of them fantastic, the programmers from WebCorp, the legal department from Control Freaks, Hypervoltage, the design by Faro de Ideas, my God, it's an amazingly big, the PR by Guardianes de la Alegría, is an immense group of collaborators, and none of them has earned a cent from this. And we hope that the users will also help us. The donation is not mandatory, not at all. As I said, the app is for free download and for free use. But if you feel that you can spare $1, $5, whatever is good for you to spare and say, I want to support this project, there is a donate button in the app and there is a donate button in the webpage. Also, just to tell you that we have another partner, which is a foundation for children with cancer here in Mexico. And they are gonna record about from 300 to 400 voices of children that are very sick now, and they want to send their voices to the moon. So they are doing such a beautiful work with us that we decided that the 10% of any money that we get, we are also gonna donate it to the foundation to help in the battle for these children with cancer. So please support us.
Yes, I mean, that is absolutely wonderful. Really, everybody's coming together for such a good cause. I love that Earthling Project has such a wonderful positive vibe, which we all need right now. And as we're on the subject of donations, I would like also to take this moment to remind everyone that the SETI Institute is also a nonprofit organization. And we would also appreciate if you maybe felt generous around the Christmas time. You could go to SETI.org and hit donate and support us as well, so we can continue to make these wonderful SETI Live talks. So thank you, everyone, for supporting us, and also for supporting the Earthling Project and all the wonderful, good vibrations that we are all collectively going to create through our singing voices. Me less so. I'm like, we're going to be this trio of terrible voices. But I think what is so wonderful about this is that singing has become so much like the voice, and you have to belt and you have to be Celine Dion. And this app is just, it democratizes singing, and it just like, we can all sing. It's so profoundly human. I think we've been singing since, we've invented culture, as like painting on cave walls and singing. So we should just, enjoy that again, that gift that we all have. And
so, Bettina, maybe Good Vibrations could be your song.
That could be, I don't know. Is it permittable?
Totally.
Like, what is the category I could put that under?
I don't know, maybe festive could be, or
Yeah.
also, I don't know, spiritual. I don't know if it would actually fit into spiritual, but could be.
I will kind of, okay, you are on. I will sing Vibrations. There will be my name. You can find me on the app. That will be one of my 3 songs. I said it here.
Great.
Now I have to do it.
Also, we want to encourage the user. I mean, as I said, you can sing anything you want, but if you feel like composing your own melody, and even if you're not a composer or a singer or a musician or a player of any instrument, it doesn't matter. If you feel like you want to compose your own melody, put some lyrics to it. And I mean, what do you want to say to the moon? I mean, your voice is going to be on the surface of the moon. So if you want to sing, I don't know, a folkloric song of your region, it's absolutely fantastic and it's absolutely welcome. But what about also inventing your own song? I mean, why not? This is the platform to do it. Nobody's going to judge you. Like Bettina just very, very correctly said, this is a democratic project where every voice, the voice of someone that cannot sing at all is as important as the voice from a super famous opera singer. They are as important one to the other. So invent your own song. Why not? I mean, be also creative and play with it. You can delete it as many times as you want until you are happy with the recording.
Brilliant. So I have 2 more questions from the audience. One is about music licensing restrictions. Is that an issue?
Yes, it is. So I do have a legal team conformed by 2 firms, the Hypervoltage firm and the Control Freaks firm, who have been really, really looking into this. So it works like this. We are working on a license that allows us that people that are registered in author rights societies can have their voice recorded. And we actually, from the donations, will pay to the to the Copyright Society. And the Copyright Society will pay to the authors. So that is really, really taken care of. We are under every legal frame. It's been a long year on that, but we managed to get to a good arrangement, which we also feel that is the right one, because we also want that if somebody is an author and wants his or her composition to be acknowledged as that, we also want to, I mean, don't expect a lot of money, but if you get 2 cents of dollar, you get 2 cents of dollars, because that's what, we came to an agreement of a percentage of our donations to the Copyright Society. So everything is completely legal. And another licensing is that it's not possible to download the pieces. So we don't have a download function. If somebody downloads a piece from our platform, we have a terms and conditions that says that we are not allowing it. Maybe somebody finds a way to hack it and downloads a song and then puts it into a techno piece and becomes multimillionaire. Well, I'm sorry for the person that didn't get the royalties on that, but certainly we don't allow it. Okay. We allow people to listen to them, and the listening platform and the listening mechanism is completely under all legal rights.
That's fantastic. You really thought of everything. And also it's another good reason to donate, because you also be supporting artists.
Totally.
Artists. Mm-hmm. And I think the last question we'll have time for is a question about who will work with research, collection, archive, and restoration material of the material collected?
Wow, great question. We also have one person for that. So it's a guy called Luis Garcia, who I don't know if he's watching this transmission, but I hope he is. And he also works at the National Sound Archive of Mexico, which they also allowed me to make a presentation of this project about a month ago. And you remember, Jill, I sent you even the diploma that they were nice enough to send you also. And he is an expert on precisely those topics. He's an expert on sound restoration and archiving and everything. So he will be taking care of that part.
Now, I'm just thinking, Felipe, when we get back to in-person celebrations, if you decide to have a holiday party for this crew, you're going to have rent a big space.
Totally. I cannot do it in my house anymore, and I don't know. Maybe we should do it at 88. That would be really fun.
Love to do it.
I was about to suggest that we have a lot of space there, and then we can maybe start to collect some voices from aliens to include in the composition.
Yeah, and then we can invite also the SETI people, which also, you know, Charles at some time proposed that once the COVID thing is over, we could also make a trip all together to ATA and finally get to know each other in person.
That's right. Well, it's a great project, so there's many ways to expand it and scale it up. I'm really looking forward to listening to your compositions of this crowdsourced talent show that involves the entire globe. Is there anything else you want to say before we wind down for today?
Well, I first, of course, want to thank you. And really, I cannot express my gratitude to the SETI Institute and the SETI Air for making this possible, because this otherwise just wouldn't have been possible to do it without the SETI Institute, without your support, Jill, without the vision of Charles and Bettina and everything that involves the SETI Institute and the SETI Air program. Really, again, I cannot express my gratitude enough for everything and all the support that you have given to this project, as well as to the Arc Mission Foundation and to all my team. Really, I love you all. If some of you are watching, I seriously love you all, because you have been leaving your fingers on the computers to make this happen. And also I want to give you a little present to the SETI people, but I mean, I cannot give it to you, of course, right now, physical, but we also made a commemorative wine bottle of the launch of the Earthling Project, made by some of our partners called the Montechanic wine in Mexico, and they also wanted to give you this surprise, so they made 7 commemorative bottles, each one with a different label, and we'll find a way to ship them to you, to the SETI crew, because we are very excited to share with you these wonderful wine bottles that Montechanic made specially for the occasion. So my cat just got tangled in my headphones. And so yeah, we want to share this gift with all of you. So hopefully very, very soon we can cheer together.
Many, many thanks. And I look forward to being able to toast with that wonderful wine.
Yes, looking forward for us all to get together again in person. And thank you, Felipe. It's artists like you who make this air program work and bring so much flair and profundity and poetic vision to our program. So thank you both. Thank you, Felipe. Thank you, Jill, for joining us. And thank you to everybody who logged in and dialed in to see the news about the launch of the Earthling Project. I hope you all now hurry over to your phones and start downloading the app and start singing. Thank you, and goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, Bettina. Thanks for hosting.